In the previous chapters, everything starts with a placement exam at the National Valkyria Academy, introducing the protagonist who was unusually weak and pathetic. In his childhood, he lost his father to an invasion of monsters from other worlds. Since then, he has vowed to become strong by all means. He was the weakest in his class and was constantly beaten up, even though he had great resilience. But gradually, he began to gain a little strength. One day, in an alleyway, he heroically saved a classmate, Akane, from a group of enemies that outnumbered him, who also happened to be students from his academy. Akane shares her past with the protagonist, but it turns out that her best friend wasn't who she said she was, and now Akane is in danger again. Akane sits in a classroom, seemingly lost in thought as she packs her bag, thinking her dad is a hero. Focus shifts. She's at home, talking to a dad, humbly denying being a hero. She playfully insists that he's super strong. A man muses that heroes fight recklessly, but he's different. He vows to protect his family. The man gently pats the child's head, telling her, Akane, to remember. Suddenly, a fiery cityscape appears, hinting at impending danger. It's an emergency. Medics frantically work on a bandaged man. A woman cries. She's comforted, a young girl looking on with wide eyes. Later, the doctor assures them the man's life is not in danger, but the girl looks serious, sensing something's wrong. Few years later, she gazed out a snowy window, a worried expression on her face. Suddenly, a woman with red hair entered, startling the girl. The woman lit a cigarette with a sigh. They both stood over a hospital bed, the woman asking if he was still unconscious. Out of nowhere, the woman storms off, angrily muttering about their struggles. She continues her rant about mounting hospital bills. Facing a grim reality, the woman tells the girl she'll need to work after middle school. The girl sadly processes this news. She clutches her skirt, determined to cure their dad. A glowing basilisk, a rare creature with healing properties, is the key. It's so rare, it's not for sale. The girl decides to get it herself. Her plan involves Valkyria National Academy, a warrior training school. Remembering being placed in Class E, she'd almost given up. Now, she resolved to push herself to the absolute limit. She remembered how Hinata had changed and wondered if she could do the same. She came out of classroom, surprised to find her friend there. Girl turned, a sinister purple aura swirling around her hand, and with a chilling smile, she asked the other girl for a private chat. School's out. Hinata minds his business, and the dude wonders what to do. He feels compelled to speak up about something, but he's second-guessing himself, wondering why he's even getting involved. He reminds himself it's none of his business. Suddenly, Hinata asks if he needs anything. A startled guy, speechless. Hinata's told him he's alone, not with Takayuki. He hesitates, then realizes this is his chance to talk, but he seems apprehensive. The dude with glasses agonized over asking for help after causing so much trouble. Hinata started to walk away, telling the other guy he'd leave if nothing was needed. The other guy simply sighed. Glasses guy then noticed two girls walking down the street, seemingly close. He looked surprised, sensed with a cane was something amiss, wondering if girls and Relic was involved. A guy with glasses, seemingly annoyed, brushed it off as none of his business. He stomped off angrily, muttering, "Damn it," under his breath. Hinata paused, glancing back thoughtfully as the first one stormed away. A group gathered in a dimly lit room, sunlight streaming through high windows. A tense moment. A blonde guy and redhead woman conferred quietly with the others, seeking reassurance. Nervous glances exchanged. They confirmed they were ready for whatever was coming. The group leader, still unsure, pressed for absolute certainty, reminding them of a previous failure. The beanie dude confidently assured him they had a secret weapon this time. Kaori was with them. A shady character assures them that things will go smoothly. He, smoking, brags about increased profits thanks to a mysterious benefactor. Beanie dude smirks, clearly pleased with himself as some students approach. Girl greets the students politely. As she arrived, greeted with a, "Oh, you're here." An apology followed for keep waiting them. They questioned about she said she wouldn't use the relic. The reply was that plans changed. A woman declared that girl is way too young, but Guy and Cap disagreed. He is totally fine. Finally, she made a suggestive remark, will blonde guy thinking of making her his new girl? A guy expressed concern about she's being too young, despite her cuteness. He leaned in close to a girl, grabbing her chin. With a sinister grin, said he'd have some fun and then pass the girl off to some other guys. He observed that she was sure to be popular. Kaori grinned and reminding her that she'd said she needed the money. Akane quietly admitted she needed money for her dad. A dude found their creepy despite seeing it often. He teased Kaori for being shy. The dude changed the subject abruptly. He warned Kaori that she was being followed. The girl was shocked by the news. The bespectacled guy panicked, realizing he'd been heard. He wondered why he even were after them, terrified of their strength. He considered making a run for it. Suddenly, a sinister smile appeared on a girl's face. It was just Hagana. Kaori holds a glowing orb, guy asking if he recognizes the person inside. She assures him the trapped classmate is weak and there's no need to worry. She reminds Hagane that he wanted to join their group, but he frantically denies it. With a sinister smile, she holds up orb, now trapping Hagane himself, saying he did. Say he wanted in. The bespectacled guy looks shadowy agrees with her. A devious woman holding a glowing orb as blonde leader suggests then making him an accomplice. Hein instructs Hagane to help Akane undress. Hagane accepts the task, looking a little bewildered. Guy announces they're starting to record. Hagane, unable to move on its own, he is not controls his body and questions his unfortunate fate. With a conflicted sense of justice, he's always ending up on the villain's side as he gets knocked back. He grabbed Akane thinking, it's easier not to fight back. He rationalize, he can always claim he had no choice. He thinks about Hinata. He thinks that only him is different. Suddenly, Hinata leaps into action, aimed to the Hagane's head, striking him with surprising force. He gets a shocking surprise, which brings him toe sense. He's knocked off his feet, crashes to the ground. A group of people look on in stunned confusion, wondering what just happened. Kaori, holding a glowing purple orb, surprised that he was there. Akane looks emotionless, caught off guard. Zooming in on the pink-haired girl's eye, we see a reflection of Hinata. She watched him, bathed in a warm light. She seems surprised, whispering, "Hinata?" As he clenches his fist, a fiery backdrop hinting at intense emotions. Kaori unexpected to see Hinata here, while he standing with determined look. She pointed them out to a blonde guy. It's the weakest kid from Class E, she explained. The blonde guy wondered what such a weakling was doing there. Girl, admitted Shuer, also curious. Holding her relic, a glowing purple orb, a sinister smile playing on her lips. She asked Hinata if he wanted to join them too. He had just one burning question. He asked the girl if she and Akane were friends. She retorted, "They of course were friends," declared that question absurd. He pressed, asking if she knew about Akane's family problems then. She confidently explained she knew that well, which is why she got her this job. A bruised guy vehemently insists that she was lying. He loudly stated that Akane never ever agreed to this, and that Kaori used her relic to influence her. She glared at Guy, realizing that the punch in the face had brought him to his senses. Shifting her focus to Hinata, she was perplexed as to why the relic didn't affect him yet. Hagane asked him why he was there, making it clear he hadn't tell him about what is going to happen. He said he had a feeling he was going to ask him for something. He muttered that if it had been someone else, Takayuki, he wouldn't have helped. A bruised and battered student looks up while Hinata realized that Hagane always hated what he did. Abruptly, the bullies snorted. Beanie Guy mocks him, accusing him of playing hero. Acknowledging his past escapes with a sinister smile, he declares this will be their third encounter, and they wouldn't waste it. The Beanie Guy yells, "You are out of luck!" Hinata stands still without a drop of panic. The shot lands squarely at Hinata's arm, ricocheting off into the distance. Girl stumbles back, struggling to regain her balance as she spectate action. The blonde dude looks intently at the what happening. Huh? A guy in a beanie swings his arm, surprised. He thinks he got lucky, with a block. The blonde dude thinks it's more than luck, questioning the guy's awareness. The girl and the blonde guy wondered about the other Hinata's relic. She thought it was powerless, but he countered that every relic has power. He narrowed his eyes, suspecting something was hidden. Suddenly, the girl, confused and frustrated, she wondered why her relic wasn't working on him, since it should affect anyone. Hinata's device activates on his wrist. He glared menacingly at her while she tried to figure out why her relic wasn't working. He had passive ability that allows you to resist against mental manipulation. A giant, golden hand suddenly appears, reaching for him below. A golden, monstrous hand slams down, narrowly missing him. The guy in cap, annoyed, realizes he's been seen. Hinata, looking angry, demands to know why the cap guy is doing this. He argues that a relic shouldn't be used to hurt others. He shouted loudly to a crowd that they exist to protect everyone from monsters of another dimension. A blond man scoffs, barely containing his laughter. He bursts out laughing, incredulous. The whole room erupts in raucous laughter. Hinata looked confused. A blond man looking exasperated. He implied Guy was naive about how the world worked, explaining that government guilds are exclusive. He pointed out most people can't profit from relics. He leaned in, suggesting it would be a shame to waste a hard-earned relic, hinting at a money-making opportunity. Hinata seemed to crackle with power, questioning if making money justifies exploiting hard workers. An unsettling grin spreads across a face as the answer, "Of course," hangs heavy in the air. The blonde dude cynically declares he doesn't care who gets sacrificed as long as it's not him. He challenges the group, wondering if he's the only one with such ruthless ambition. A shady duo smirks, plotting to betray their friends for cash. He declares it actually just as smart to do so. He scoffs at the idea of working hard, with no guarantee of guild entry, calling it foolish. Hinata gritted his teeth in fierce determination. He lunged forward, aiming a punch at his blonde opponent. His fist connected, a burst of energy erupting from the impact. "Too bad," someone said, their giant golden hand reaching into the scene. The blonde guy, looking unimpressed, taunted his opponent, doubting his abilities. He looked down on the struggling hero, about to reveal a harsh truth as the hero fought to protect two others, their glowing eyes fixed on the hero, and their sinister smiles promising trouble. The reason for the hero's plight was revealed. He was simply too weak, fist clenched in rage, overwhelming the hero. A fist slams down hard. He started throwing dozens of punches. He thinks back to the silver-haired man, comparing him to his current opponent, not understanding why everyone keeps pointing out the weakness of others. He thinks about others in similar tough spots. He's angry, realizing some people are trying to take advantage of their perceived weakness. He explodes with rage, ready to defeat those who underestimate him. His escalating rage triggered a forced update. His punch ignites with red, fierce energy. It struck with incredible force, sending Cap Guy flying. He was knocked back hard against a wall. Hinata taunted, implying that they think weakness is a flaw. His face shadowed. He says he'll make them regret what they said. A surge of red energy erupts. He's activating a suit of rage. Amidst a fiery backdrop, the hero declared he would become overwhelmingly powerful. He clenched his fists, vowing to keep fighting until people like them are vanished. Hinata, in a red suit, flares with power. Heiganey notices the suit's transformation with alarm. Blonde man questions if this is how a relic should behave, while two others appear dazed and defeated on the ground. The girl realized, with a shocked expression, that she was wrong about it. Suddenly, a blur of motion and a powerful punch. The hit misses as Blonde groaned. The blonde guy looked shocked, his face contorted in disbelief. With a yell, he took a step, striking back with his foot. Suddenly, a girl calling out to the blonde guy, wondering if he's okay. He stopped, annoyed by her presence. A blonde think that. He seems to be getting stronger, with glowing markings on his hand, looks confused and doubtful. He warns Hinata not to get cocky. He pours water on his wrist, revealing he used to be in Class B. Now, with a maniac expression, he summons a strange, watery energy, claiming their powers are fundamentally different. A burst of water erupts, while his hand outstretched. Hinata deflecting glowing water strikes with focused intensity. He's moving fast, the clash creating splashes and a whooshing sound. The blonde guy, looking bewildered, realized his hand should have been broken. He's even more confused because Hinata's moving way better than usual, thinking, what the hell is going on? Finally, the blonde guy starts to say something, to be specific about Hinata's lack of battle experience. Suddenly, a column of water rises from the puddle and envelops the hero. A guy taunted about Hinata's weakness for binding abilities. A dozen of water strikes, hitting Hinata. He coughing, as blonde guy explains it's specifically designed for combat against people. He then sprinkles water on the relic, activating it with a confident smirk. Finally, he warns his opponent. He have made a grave mistake. Blonde man unleashes a wave of water. The tied-up protagonist braces for impact. Suddenly, a shot lands, disrupting the attack. The protagonist looks on in stunned surprise. The blonde guy glared, asking if girl had come to her senses. Akane, holding her relic, furiously yelled that they couldn't control her forever. She called him a fool, her anger palpable. She playfully teased the guy, claiming she helped him snap out of it, while he looked flustered. Cory groaned in annoyance, watching the interaction. Suddenly, she charged a glowing pink energy ball in her hand, her expression determined. A powerful bang spreads, the force evident in the bright blast. A ball fell out from of her hands. Akane demanded to know why would Kaori do that to her. She, with a sly grin, saying the reason was obvious. Easy money. Akane individual reacted with wide-eyed shock and a speechless gasp. Kaori questioned the hair-surprised expression. With a manic grin, accuses her of worthless trash, suggesting she should be grateful instead. A pink-haired girl nervously shrinks back, clearly intimidated. Akane looked down in disappointment. Clenching her weapon, she prepared her next move. Wham! Suddenly powerful shot hits her. A beanie guy warns that Class E rebels get beaten up. Hinata seemingly defeated. As Akane did. The blonde guy declares it's over, looking down at a defeated foe. He reassures Hinata, promising brainwashing later. The blonde guy smirked, suggesting things would have been disastrous without Kaori. Suddenly, the name Hinata was uttered with concern. Akane stats to get up, trembling. She was frustrated, grinding her teeth. She lamented her inability to get revenge alone. Remembering taunts about her worthlessness, tears welled up. But then, a sudden shift, a determined, "Still!" filled with defiance. She, face tear-streaked but determined, vowed to work hard. She declared she'd become much stronger. With a resounding "so," she grabbed her weapon. She fired it with fierce concentration. A blonde guy gets blasted. Suddenly, Hinata, looking surprised, releasing from a trap. The blonde guy, seemingly recovered, glares intensely. "Right now," she begins weepingly. Tears streaming down her face, asks a weighty question. "Can you take care of them for me?" A determined smirk spreads across his face. He stands, radiating power, facing a blonde man who seems not apprehensive. Heifered to handle a situation. The blonde guy, looking intense, calls him stupid. "What's the point of breaking free if I can restain you again?" Bounded again, he with determination says, "Revenge. Power unleashed with fiery aura." A blonde man looked shocked, muttering, Hinata calmly stated he'd been listening in on the conversation. He kept calling they weak, worthless, and acting like Class E is beneath him. A blonde guy reacts with surprise, unaware what's happening, shooting water blasts. Hinata with powerful punches, deflecting every shot. Has stated whether even someone at the bottom, anyone can improve through effort. The blonde guy sensed something was wrong. He tripped over a bottle, wondering why his attacks wasn't working. With a loud crash, he landed on his butt. He looks shocked as a Hinata confronts him. Hinata angrily clenches his fist, fiery energy crackling around it. He declares he'll show them the power of weakling. A blonde man yells, "No!" A powerful punch is launched with intense speed and forces blonde guy's head crashing down, dust flying. Hinata slammed the bad guy into the ground with a powerful punch. Kaori froze, eyes widening with shock and fear. The hero was already ready to deliver another powerful blow. With a cry of, "Hinata!" Akane stopped the boy. The bad guy lay defeated and Hinata radiated power. Beanie Guy shouted to the blonde to get up, while he activated his gun and fired at Hinata. The hero noticed the impending attack. With a powerful punch, he deflected the shot. Beanie Guy was shocked by Hinata's invulnerability and froze. The enraged hero grabbed the terrified guy by the collar, emitting a threatening energy. He warned him to never mess with them again. Hinata's face was strained with rage, growling that he had no time for the likes of him. The captured Beanie Guy panicked, shouting that he understood everything, just so Hinata would let him go. The man let go of the coward and he collapsed to the floor. Hinata silently walked towards his friends. As he passed Kaori, he didn't turn around. She stood motionless with fear. Akane breathed a sigh of relief. It was over. Akane remembered. Her father's words, that steadfast determination equals strength. She saw it in Hinata. The boys high-fived each other, happy with their victory. The blonde, watching from the sidelines, noted the unexpected outcome and asked what the next step would be. The headmaster said that people who go that far and disrupt the order don't need this school. He instructed the girl to proceed as usual. The principal hinted that Hinata was an unexpected discovery for him, and he was looking forward to the next exam. Valkyria Academy stood tall and imposing. The students were chatting animatedly amongst themselves, discussing something vigorously. On the blackboard hung an expulsion notice that listed 4 names, the same company that Hinata had defeated yesterday. Akane asked the guy if he had reported them. But Hinata replied that they always acted like that, and he kept quiet. They must have been under surveillance for a long time. Takayuki wondered what all the fuss was about. Hanage said he didn't know. He just saw the guys and wanted to come. But Takayuki shouted, "Limp, I'm hungry. Let's go to the cafe." And Hanage ran after him. Hinata didn't understand why Hanage wasn't socializing with them. Akane assumed he had his reasons. She recounted how he brushed off her thanks, saying he hadn't done anything. The guy was about to leave, and Akane asked where he was going. He said he was going to the store, and she exclaimed contentedly, "Good!" Hinata asked why she was tailing him. She angrily yelled that she just wanted to have lunch together, stating solidarity with single people. The guy apprehensively agreed. They sat down on a park bench to have a quiet lunch. Akane started asking Hinata about his abilities and what happened yesterday, if it was a manifestation of an evolved trait. He denied that he had such an ability before. She suggested that it might have been a latent, weak ability. He strongly disagreed, explaining that he had been too busy fighting yesterday to notice it. He later realized that after unlocking the new suit, there was a list of upgrades that increased his attack abilities. Finally, he discovered that the Suit of Fury upgrade made up for the lack of attack power. The suit's upgrades seemed to be linked to emotions. He realized his suit's potential for growth. Full of determination, he clenched his fist. Akane set aside her food and asked to practice with him. The girl admitted that she might not be as strong as Hinata, but she was determined to surpass someone else. Sitting on the bench, he appreciated her efforts. Akane was surprised. He explained how relics enhanced abilities. The guy remembered how she was in a battle and got hit. He assured her that her survival proved that the training was paying off. The girl felt both pleased and embarrassed. Akane said with a determined look that she needed to train more. She vowed to get even stronger and held out her hand, making a promise and thanking Hinata for yesterday. The guy replied, "Of course," shaking her hand. Shizuki was watching the guys from the building. Crossing her arms, she noted with disdain that some people were having too much fun. She turned to the blonde and asked if she had considered retaking the exam. Shizuki and her team invited the blonde to join them. She politely declined. Shizuki accepted the refusal, but left the door open. The girl returned to her group, assuring them that there was still time. The blonde noticed that the other 3 had questionable reputations. They seemed to have gotten them by socializing with the wrong people, expelled students. The blonde thought that Shizuki didn't care who was on her team. The important thing was that he was strong. Watching the couple from above, she realized it was personality that mattered, not strength. As she watched Shizuki, the blonde thought that the girl was taking too many risks. A loud voice shouts, "Train your body first," and the students run down the path. Their teacher, Takashima Gonzo, explains that there are many ways to develop sacred artifacts, but physical fitness is key. He notes that the E-class is lagging behind. Hinata was getting stronger. He demonstrated this in training. Takayuki saw the guy he was constantly beating getting stronger, and he really didn't like it. Gonzo's teacher announces a retest. He tells the students that they must give their best or they will have to leave the school. The teacher adds that it's not just artifacts that are important. Physical prowess and common sense matter too. Teamwork will also be important this time. Around Hanage asks how the teams will be divided. The teacher explains that it is 2 to 5 people per team. He adds that they have to form their own teams regardless of the class. The students are shocked. Takayuki complains loudly about having to team up with the E-class losers. The teacher calmly explains that assembling a team is part of the test. This school trains warriors for the country's guilds. The guilds require teamwork, but Class E is not the best. The stern teacher warns the student to study hard if he wants to graduate. Takayuki is angry, blaming Class E for his problems. He grits his teeth as he ponders the source of his problems and looks at Hinata. There was talk in the school hallways about what the teams would be. Akane tells Hinata that they need to do something about it. Ideally, they need 2 vanguards and 2 rear guards. Hinata was about to enjoy his lunch when Takayuki walks up to them. He told Hinata that no one would want to be on a team with such a weakling. Akane asked what they needed. Takayuki grabbed the hero by the tie, accusing him of being cocky. He then ordered the guy to buy him lunch. Akane snorted that he should buy his own. Takayuki was embittered and demanded that she repeat what she said. He asked her about hanging out with Hinata, called him a loser, and expressed shock at her teaming up with him. She nonchalantly said that she wanted to be on a team with Hinata because he was so much better and stronger than Takayuki. Takayuki shouted, "What did you say?" Akane nonchalantly asks Hanage if he thinks the same. The red-haired man grabbed Hanage and angrily asked him if he was serious about agreeing. Hanage got very scared and said, "That's not true, and he wants to be on a team with Takayuki. It's better and wiser that way." Takayuki said, "That's what Hanage's opinion is." But Akane replied with a smirk. "Really?" She was packing her lunch and added that the guys had better discuss how to take the test and she wasn't so free to waste time on them. Akane suggested that Hinata go somewhere else. The guys were walking down the hallway, and the girl said that apparently Hanage wouldn't be joining them on the team. She wondered who would want to be with them. Hinata asked if she would be on the team with him. The girl replied that of course she would be with him. Everyone thinks the guy is weak, but she knows what he can do, and offered to surprise everyone at the test. Hinata smiled and shouted, "Okay!" At this time, a blonde girl was watching the guys. She was looking at Hinata and noticed that he had changed a lot, noting that this guy could really surprise everyone. Suddenly, in the 1E class, someone yelled out, "You bastard!" Takayuki toppled over his desk, angry at being looked down upon. Hanage tried to calm him down, but the boy was quiet, and then asked the bespectacled man if there had been any serious injuries or accidents in past exams. Hanage replied, "Yes." Takayuki smiled and said that the retake exam would be held in a D-class portal. Similar to real combat situations, so there are unexpected incidents there. But that's the official version. He sat down on the desk and added that actually these accidents are artificially created. Hanage was startled. Takayuki tapped his fingers on the desk and said, smiling evilly, "Maybe there will be an incident this year too." Discussions have begun on social media about next week's Valkyrie recertification exam. People all over the country will be watching it. Someone in the comments asks if that guy is still in school. Some don't realize who they're talking. They reply that they are talking about the naked guy who caused the incident on air. Apparently, he's still here. An unofficial list of students has been leaked, and illegal bets on exam scores are being made on the sly. 2 girls, Shizuku and Sachi, are the top contenders. Both have a good chance of winning. Someone asks about the guy who messed up the broadcast. A card appears showing Aoyama and Asahi, with their odds of 52x and 137x respectively. Looks like Hinata is in last place, by a wide margin. We are transported to the training forest, where Hinata is preparing for battle. Suddenly, a monstrous red creature rushes at him with a terrifying roar. The hero gazed intently, preparing for action. He swiftly swung a powerful kick at the monstrous bear. The beast roared in pain and collapsed to the ground. The hero, breathing heavily, thought, as expected. After receiving the red suit, he felt stronger. But there was a heavy price to pay for the Fury suit. He realized that the suit was quickly draining his stamina. A system message appeared, confirming his fears. He lacked the ability to use the powerful Fury suit, and it was using up his stamina every second. He wondered if he needed to get stronger, to use the suit more effectively. Deciding to make do with the indomitable suit for now, he materialized it around his body. Anake ran over to Hinata. He said she was late, to which the girl explained that her extra makeup lesson had run late. and she thought it was strange that they were required to get good grades in military school. Hinata pointed out that they were still essentially just high school students, so they needed to study. The girl clarified if the guys didn't have a makeup class. The guy, smiling, replied that there wasn't. Anaki was outraged that it wasn't fair. Hearing the words about grades, Hinata remembered Shizuku helping him with his classes, saying that it wasn't just physical strength that was important. Anaki, on the other hand, had said that she always set aside some time to study before going to bed. But now they need to practice hard, reminding them that the exam is near. Someone from behind the trees is watching the boys. Hinata notices this and, grabbing Anaki, quickly jumps aside, dodging an explosive attack. Putting Anaki on the ground, the guy got into a fighting stance. He looked into the forest and waited for the enemy to appear. Slowly, a female student of their academy, a blonde girl with short hair and a long staff, emerged from the thicket of the forest. She swept her attack in a way they wouldn't have noticed before. They had gotten better. The guys got ready to fight, and Hinata asked the blonde girl, "Who are you?" The girl was surprised that he didn't know her. Anaki said she knew her. It was Sachi Shirohane. The blonde stood confused, upset that she hadn't interacted with the guy before. Anaki added that Sachi was from Class A. She was pretty strong and in the same class as Shizuku. Hinata thought, a blonde girl as strong as Shizuku. Sachi noticed that Shizuku had been acting strange lately. She resolutely grabbed her weapon and saying, "Let's test what you can do." She lunged towards Hinata. She was ready to test him with her staff. The boy dodged the glowing weapon. He gripped the staff tightly and was ready to electrocute her with his suit, but the blonde flew backward, propelled by an invisible force. She quickly leapt into the air and grabbed the golden-bladed staff. The golden bird-like weapon swept through the air. A purple energy beam shot downward, causing a massive explosion. The explosion sent Hinata flying backwards. Anaki cried out fearfully, "Hinata!" Worried for the guy. Before the guy could get up from his knees, out of the cloud of smoke, Sachi was running at him with a sharp staff. Hinata blocked the blow and pushed the girl away. Smiling, she swung, trying to strike hard. But the sharp blade stopped near the neck of a startled Hinata. The blonde watched him, a sly smile playing on her lips. She noticed that he had really changed since the last exam. Hinata asked what someone wanted. The blonde-haired man smirked, confidently. Sachi said that everyone wants to recruit her for reassessment, but she wants to be with those who pique her interest. Holding out her hand, she says that Hinata is interested in her and suggests they team up. The guy decisively and politely declined her offer. The blonde didn't immediately realize that she was rejected, as she isn't used to hearing rejection. Sachi politely asked to repeat what she had said. Perhaps she had heard it. She once again said that she wanted to team up, but Hinata once again replied with a refusal. The blonde was surprised and demanded an explanation. The guy stated that, after she attacked him out of the blue, teaming up was absurd, and he wasn't interested in easy grades. He also said that he could have teamed up with her, and maybe he could have gotten into a better class. But no one would believe he earned that spot with his own skills. They would start saying that he took advantage of Sachi. Hinata stated that he had his own reasons why he needed to join the guild. Therefore, he simply had to earn recognition through his own strength. His gaze froze as he reaffirmed his determination. Sachi was delighted by Hinata's words. Smiling, she got ready to leave the guys, telling the guy that he was indeed very interesting, and she would look forward to seeing him reach the top. The girl walked off deep into the forest, leaving the heroes alone. Anaki began to resent how Hinata could have missed such an opportunity, grabbing the guy by the shoulders. He responded by asking if she was listening to him at all. He clarified that this blonde seemed to only be interested in those who intrigued her. Anaki paused and touched her chin thoughtfully, realizing that teamwork was out of the question. Hinata suggested that the girl focus on getting good grades together rather than relying on someone else. She seemed surprised, but agreed. The guy realized that Sachi had the skill level of a top student. She had everything: speed, strength, tactics. She was also very honorable to him. Hinata realized that he could definitely handle her, even with his strong suit. The hero realized that he still had a long way to go. He was too confident in his recent enhancement. Hinata looked through all of his upgrades. perhaps something he had missed or couldn't activate. Suddenly, he noticed a new notification that a new feature was available to him. Audience with the bosom. A gleaming skyscraper pierced the bright sky above the bustling city, the headquarters of the otherworldly threats. Inside, a group of people were gathered around a futuristic round table for a serious meeting of the Guild Alliance. Defense Minister Hagain Renpei announced the next topic, the appearance of a mysterious portal. Unfortunately, the investigation did not yield any new clues. Another speaker, Kagura Kinji, master of the Phoenix Guild, addressed those brave individuals who dared to enter the portals. Sherry Truman and Shio Ogai are both S-rank masters. Ogai demands answers regarding the investigation of the portals. Kagura admits that they are in complete ignorance. He explains that they desperately tried to close the portals on their own, but failed. Ogai insists that he would have reported everything he knows. Truman, standing nearby, seconded his words. Kagura tried to find out if his interlocutors were hiding something. Perhaps they know the truth but are hiding it because they are afraid of losing their jobs. Sherry Truman, laughing, said that she was not as insignificant as the little people. Kagura skeptically replied, "Really, Minister?" Renpei coughed loudly, interrupting the tense atmosphere. He turned to the man named Kuraha, asking if they had found anything in the last 6 months. An old man with a long mustache reported that the time between the portals was getting shorter. Everyone present was a little shocked. Sherry Truman and Shio Ogai said that if nothing was done, the situation would escalate and they would be in trouble. Minister Renpei said that there will be a disaster again. The old man added that even stronger monsters would appear. The minister said that the next disaster would be much worse than all the previous ones. He sighed, rubbing his temple, and emphasized the need for countermeasures and fast. Kagura said that talented people would be needed to deal with the coming crisis. The minister added that this was exactly what would help them, and asked how the training of new successors was going. Headmaster Tsushima Atsushi confidently reported incredibly talented people. He reported that a re-examination was about to take place. Truman found this very encouraging. Kagura inquired if there were any students they should keep an eye on. The principal confirmed that there are. He cited 2 freshman girls in particular, Minase Shizuka and Shirohane Sachi, as being particularly promising. These 2 girls are especially promising. A sacred relic that manipulates life energy is introduced. Shizuku wields Runeornir, a glowing blue energy blade. The blonde-haired girl Sachi wields the Gay Bolg, crackling with explosive energy. Both girls wield incredibly powerful holy relics. They are not to be disregarded. Sherry Truman and Shio Ogai point out that the girls have relics with high offensive power, and they will be useful to the guild. Kagura asks if there are any more promising individuals. The director confirms that there are, but suggests that everyone see for themselves at the retest. Kagura also recalls the training of successors specializing in defense, and asks the director about the son of the man who once held that position. He wonders if Asahi Hinata is still in school. Sherry didn't understand who he was talking about. Old man Kureha asked if he meant the kid who was naked. Truman remembered that it was the kid with the sacred relic who couldn't use a weapon. The principal confirmed that the kid was still in school. Then Kagura started to get indignant that the kid can't realize that his relic is useless, and apparently the kid is too stupid to realize that. The headmaster objected. That's not true. He states with a smile that Hinata can become the most outstanding student in their school.
To be continued.